Donald Trump has changed the meaning of MAGA. It now means make Argentina great again. What? Yes, MAGA now means make Argentina great again because Donald Trump has decided that he is going to bail out his buddy down there and bail out the Argentinian farmers for soybeans and for beef. Originally, he had sent them $20 billion. He then increased that from $20 billion to $40 billion to help them and prop up his friend down there who's trying to become president and stay president. And then he decided now he's going to start buying Argentinian beef, which has got the cattle farmers in the United States out of shape. Not to mention the soybean farmers are out of shape because of Donald Trump's trade war with China, and China's not purchased any soybeans since May. And in turn, China goes to Argentina and buys billions of dollars worth of soybeans from Argentina. And Donald Trump is now sending our tax dollars to Argentina to prop up his buddy. I mean, this is so twisted and so wrong. But clearly, don't cry for me, Argentina, because Donald Trump has changed the slogan. It is now make Argentina great again. I want to know what all of you soybean and cattle farmers, what do you all think about this? And MAGA, what do you think about this? I thought it was supposed to be America first. It's not America first. It's clearly Argentina first. Love to hear from my Democrats, my MAGAs, my crazies, my cuckoos, and my burned out light bulbs. How you like that price of beef? Beef was going up more than 55% under Donald Trump. Really doing a good job there, Donald. What do y'all think?
Man, fuck them farmers. First it was soybean coming on here bitching and moaning, and now it's all the cattle ranchers. They're talking about Argentine beef, and why would we buy Argentina's beef? We need to sell the beef here. Here, DEER, Mr. President. Why are you doing this to us? We voted for you. You know what? I have good news for the cattle ranchers, though. It may seem like a dark time, but I have good news. The silver lining is maybe at the end of this, you'll be invited to the ballroom. Maybe you'll get to go to that $250 million ballroom. Maybe, just maybe, he'll invite your manure-smelling ass to the ballroom. And then all this will be water under the bridge, and you can go kiss your daddy's ass like you have for the last decade. Because Donald Trump is for the farmers. He's for the ranchers, right? Isn't that why he gave Argentina, America first? He gave Argentina $40 billion. Meanwhile, the price of beef skyrockets. Meanwhile, Argentina undercuts the price of soybeans so they can continue to sell to China. Meanwhile, China has cut off all trades for produce and agriculture with the United States. But the farmers would vote for him again in 2028. I thought farmers were supposed to know something. I thought they were supposed to be kind of smart and understand science and math and shit like that. But what I'm seeing is they're just a bunch of gullible asshats. To vote for the same man who tried to bankrupt you in 2019, vote for him in 2020, and turn around and vote for him again in 2024. So I don't know what to tell you, but your sobs ain't worth a pitcher of warm piss. My give a damn is busted.
Well, the Democrats were right again. Do you guys remember when we told these Trump supporters that if Trump put tariffs on everything, that American companies would jack their prices up? Well, that's exactly what happened with American beef. As soon as Trump put in the tariffs, American cattle farmers raised their prices 10 to 15%. And when we told Trump supporters that this is precisely what would happen, they said, well, that's okay. I'm okay with paying higher prices at the store, even though Trump's entire campaign promise was to lower prices. But I'm okay with paying higher prices as long as we're buying American, because that's the patriotic thing to do. Well, I guess I got a little bit too patriotic in here, huh? Because now Trump is importing beef from Argentina to undercut the prices of American farmers. Isn't it amazing how Trump has completely fucked over American farmers at every turn, and yet he has the audacity to sit in the White House and say, prices are way down. I saved the farmers. And that's because he's an idiot. But Trump supporters, listen up. Next time, listen to the smart people. You know, the people who don't like Trump, even he knows that. The smart people. Listen to us and you could have saved yourself some trouble. Anyway, Group 7, rest assured that we are always correct about everything. So I hope you guys have a classy Thursday, and I'll check in with you later. Love you guys.
So I'm very happy about that. We're going to do something very quickly and easily on beef to get it down. The ranchers understand that. They're so happy for what I've done. I saved them. I don't think you'd have any beef in this country if I didn't do that. So we're very proud of that.
What I understand is, with all this imported beef, it actually is increasing the cost of your beef in the stores, because if we can produce it here and you don't have all the transportation costs, it saves the packer money, saves the consumer money to get it on the shelves. I don't understand why it wouldn't be much cheaper for us to be able to produce it here at home like we've always done until very recently. It's what made America great 100 years ago, because we could provide for ourselves and export to other nations our surplus.
Demand hasn't slowed down one bit, which has led to the cyclical rise of the increase of beef prices. So lower stock of beef, higher demand for beef, prices are likely to continue to rise for the next couple of years. We can teach you how to cook and how to buy those cheaper cuts to stretch and last. Everybody wants those nice tender middle steaks, but if you want to buy those, your wallet has to be prepared to start taking a hit. It's such a limited amount. Prices going up on boxed beef all over the country.
President Trump plans to flood the beef market with beef from Argentina to help combat the high beef prices here in the United States. Let me tell you why that is a bad idea. For one, the first time in decades, the farmer and rancher is able to finally turn a decent profit and put that money back into their farm and ranch and help keep their ranches alive. Second, if we cheapen American beef, we're going to fall back into the same trend that we were 4, 5, 6 years ago, where we're losing 10 to 20,000 American ranchers every single year. Why would somebody try to continue on a ranch or pass it down to their kids? Why would their kids want to run a ranch that's not even able to make a decent living? And third, a lot of these people are the ones that voted for you. What happened to the America First policy, taking care of the American ranchers and the American people first before anybody else? Now, I'm not saying imports are bad, but flooding the market and making it worse for the American ranchers is not the way to go about this. How do we get the cost of beef down? We got to get the cost of production down for the American ranchers. I'm interested to see what y'all think about this. Let me know down in the comments below. And as always, guys, buy American, buy local, and God bless.
Do you remember when I said Trump was going to give Argentina $20 billion to bail out their failing economy, influence an election, and help one of their billionaire buddies make a bunch of money? Yeah, now he's going to give them $40 billion, and he's buying their beef instead of helping our farmers. As I've previously stated, the president of Argentina, Javier Milei, demolished his economy. And with the influence of our Secretary of Treasury, Scott Bessent, the U.S. was going to send them $20 billion to prop up their economy and make it look pretty to hopefully help Milei get reelected. As a nice thank you, Milei decided to remove tariffs from China so he could sell them soybeans at the exact time that China stopped buying soybeans from us because Trump put tariffs on China. A guy named Rob Citron, who's a minority owner in the Steelers and a hedge fund guy, has invested billions of dollars into Argentinian bonds. He also is very close friends with Scott Bessent and claims to be the one who convinced Bessent to convince Trump to shell out $20 billion. That initial $20 billion plus the soybean sales was going to make Rob so wealthy. And now Trump turns around and goes, you know what, let's double it and buy their screwworm beef. Screwworms are flesh-eating maggots that live in beef. So the next time someone tries to tell me that this orange man is smart and he's running this country like a business, remember that he's buying Milei's meat and paying him $40 billion on top of that. And to match that, Milei is screwing Trump and the US by selling soybeans, the exact thing we were selling to China. And on top of that, Rob Citron is using this administration like a dish rag to profit off of Argentinian bonds. Screw the U.S. farmers, I guess.
While farmers lose billions, yeah, that's with a B, prices are getting higher. I know what we're going to do. We're going to buy it from Argentina. Yeah, right? Fuck y'all farmers.
Beef prices down. The only price we have that's high is beef, and we'll get that down. And one of the things we're thinking about doing is beef from Argentina.
So not only did he bail him out with $20 billion and then try to raise it to $40 billion, now he's literally telling you out loud, instead of buying American homemade beef, pause, I'm gonna go to Argentina and get that beef. Pause again. It's OD. It's almost as egregious as the shit he's pulling off, and y'all gonna sit there and move the goalposts and somehow defend it.
This farm crisis that we're in. Guys, look, one of the best splorn crops that I have ever raised in my life. And because of the tariffs, China will not fucking buy it. And they are the only country in the world they are the only country in the world that buys splorn.
It's okay to just say that man tricked and fooled y'all. You don't gotta be George Bush with it. Fool me once. Shame on you. Fool me twice. Can't get fooled again. Y'all niggas got fooled again. Really for a third time, especially farmers. Y'all voted for that man 3 different times. He fucked you over once, didn't win the second time, now he fucked you over again. And I want to have empathy for y'all, but it's at the same time, it's just like, hello, what the fuck you thought was going to happen?
From 12 billion to zero. And then, as a farmer, we get up one morning and you give Argentina, which is our second biggest competition in the world. They're the largest exporters of soybean meal in the world. So I get up one morning, I turn the news on, and you give $20 billion of taxpayer money to my competition. And then the Chinese buy, I think the figure is 30 or 40 containers, ships, which is about 65,000 metric tons per ship, which is like 2.2 million bushels. So they buy 12 or 14 billion dollars worth of soybeans from the Argentinians.
Well, he's not going to come after me. And then he came after you. And now he's fucking your life up. I don't know. Maybe this is America first, and maybe this is what winning really feels like.
Donald Trump just had the nerve to say that he saved American ranchers and that we wouldn't even have beef in this country if it wasn't for him. He's saying this as he's actively flooding the U.S. market with cheap imported Argentina beef, undercutting American farmers and driving them into bankruptcy. Even Trump-supporting ranchers say they feel betrayed. Look at this.
Very happy about that. We're going to do something very quickly and easily on beef to get it down. The ranchers understand that. They're so happy for what I've done. I saved them. I don't think you'd have any beef in this country if I didn't do that. So we're very proud of that. Yep.
Isn't that just unbelievable? He could not be more delusional if he tried. Trump has the nerve to say he saved U.S. ranchers while his trade policies are actively crippling them. His choice to massively increase beef imports from Argentina has caused U.S. cattle prices to plummet. Independent ranchers, the backbone of rural America, are being squeezed out while multinational meat corporations are profiting off of cheap foreign supply. The irony here is painful. Many of these ranchers supported Trump in both elections, believing his America First lie. But now, even lifelong Republican farmers from places like Texas to Oklahoma to Arkansas are starting to speak out. And rightfully so. He betrayed them. He sold out to foreign producers and lied straight to their faces. And to add insult to injury, he's now on TV saying these ranchers should be thanking him despite the fact they're going bankrupt because of his policies. A billionaire is helping massive corporations and not the American people. How surprising is that?
Donald Trump has already hurt farmers across the country, either through immigration policies or trade policies, with maybe the exception of corn farmers when he signed off that allows ethanol to be produced at an increased level year-round, including the amount put in our fuel. But now, he's hurting ranchers. And the beef ranchers in this country are notoriously petty. Do you remember when they sued Oprah because she said don't eat red beef? Well, now Donald Trump is planning on buying beef from Argentina to help the ranchers in Argentina and, in his theory and mind, to lower beef prices in the United States. He's going to bring live beef in from Argentina to the U.S. to lower prices. But the problem is there's nobody to process that beef because he has deported all of the workers. The people who worked at the meat processing plants across the country were overwhelmingly immigrants, and overwhelmingly they have left those jobs either on their own to protect themselves and their families, or they've been deported in raids. So I don't know where he's planning on this beef being processed. We don't even have enough processing power in the country to process the beef that ranchers in the U.S. want processed. But beef ranchers and senators for beef-producing states overwhelmingly are against this plan, and they're throwing a fit, with the beef industry saying that this would destroy the beef industry in the United States, that with the struggles that they're already going through thanks to immigration policies, that Donald Trump is on a path that would dismantle beef production in the U.S. if he continues with this plan to buy live beef from Argentina and import it in an attempt to lower costs. Once again, Donald Trump is proving that he doesn't care about the people that voted for him. He only cares about the people that pay him and the people that paid for him to get reelected so he could help make them more billions.
President Trump recently announced that he is considering increasing imports from Argentina in order to lower domestic beef prices. Let's talk about it. Hi, my name is Avery Clare, and alongside my husband, we sell and ship our beef that we raise right here on our Georgia pastures. Right now, we have some of the lowest cattle numbers in U.S. history, and the market is reflecting that scarcity. Beef prices are high because supply is low. But these high prices are necessary. From 2019 to 2022, many ranchers had to liquidate much of their herd and were running their operations at a loss or barely breaking even. Current market is finally giving ranchers a chance to recover, rebuild their herds, and reinvest in their operations. If we start undercutting U.S. ranchers with cheaper imports, we'll make it even harder to rebuild domestic beef supply. On our farm, we've protected ourselves from the volatility of the commodity market by selling our beef direct to American families, but many ranchers can't. We have to support American ranchers and let the market work. Trump, if you see this, please put American ranchers first. We cannot afford to lose any more of them.
Is imported beef safe to eat? And have we imported beef before? Yes, the United States has been importing beef for over 100 years from many places in South America, including Mexico. At the moment, Mexican beef has been stopped from coming across the border as a live carcass because of the Mexican screwworm. We don't import live South American beef because their beef can have hoof and mouth disease, which cannot be transmitted in the carcass and the meat. We have always relied heavily on USDA inspections and their stringent qualities. Guess who fired those people? South American beef can have brucellosis, which we have eradicated here in Missouri, and that can be transferred in the meat in the carcass. So it's important, again, that we have USDA inspections. Also, South American beef can have tuberculosis, which can be transported in the carcass. Again, it's important to have USDA inspections. There has never been a known case of mad cow disease in South America. But here in the United States, American farmers are not allowed to feed their animals anything that has animal protein in it, mammal protein, which could cause mad cow disease. But I can't say that about South American beef. The safety of our beef relies on USDA inspectors. And remember, who fired those USDA inspectors? And what makes this imported beef different from the beef we've imported in the past? There has always been targeted tariffs on beef. That way, no country, Brazil, Mexico, or Argentina, could dump their beef on the U.S. market, putting U.S. farmers out of business. In this case, there are no planned tariffs on Argentinian beef.
Who knew that importing beef from Argentina was going to leave American farmers and ranchers questioning Trump's loyalties? First, the tariff wars undercut American soybean farmers, and now Trump is importing beef from Argentina. They want to know what's going on here. It turns out President Trump is threading the needle. While he's making deals with Argentina to keep China out of our backyard, he also has to face the reality that beef prices have not come down, and the American consumer feels it every time they check out at the grocery store. By allowing a fraction of Argentine beef into the U.S., he's putting just enough pressure on domestic producers to keep prices in check. And that's where the tension comes in. Ranchers are frustrated because they've seen stable profits thanks to strong demand, even at all-time high prices. But Trump has to decide, does he prioritize the producers of an industry or the pocketbooks of 330 million Americans heading into the holiday season? It's a complicated issue. We can't get hysterical or treat this like betrayal, because sometimes leadership means making uncomfortable trade-offs for the betterment of all Americans, not just one segment. Maybe the real answer isn't blocking imports, but removing the red tape that drives up producers' costs so ranchers can grow their herds and compete eat freely. Because at the end of the day, we all want the same thing: affordable food, strong farms, and a stable America. Let me know what you think in the comments.
No, because let's talk about this, right? Let's talk about this. Not only did the American farmer at a rate of 2-to-1 vote for a known garbage businessman because they wanted to own the libs, because directly in spite of the fact that this guy has screwed over everyone he's ever worked with. There's not a single person in his cabinet today that I'm aware of that was in his first cabinet because every single one of them got in there to enrich themselves and then found out that it wasn't worth it because he turned on every single one of them to save his own butt. Forgetting the fact that many of them got arrested, went to jail, had to pay fines, right? He's a known crook. And you believed that the proximity you had with hating the same types of people was going to enrich you, and you did not believe that it was going to come for you. All that being said, I've seen multiple of these videos, and they all end up saying the quiet part out loud. But we're finally making money. If you get into farming, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. But in my head, if you get into farming, you get into farming because you want to earn a living and you want to do something that you enjoy, that you're proud of, that you think is important. Because people have to eat. Farming's not 70-inch TV screens. Farming's not fancy laptops or cars or nice shoes. Farming is staying alive. Homes, electricity, food, these things are staying alive. And when something that I used to be able to buy 3 years ago for $5 a pound now costs me $9 a pound in the grocery store. I literally went into a grocery store the other day. And granted, it wasn't an inexpensive grocery store, it was a Publix. But 93% lean ground beef. Lean ground beef was $12 a pound. In my head, $12 a pound is still $2 more expensive than I want to pay for New York strips. Ground beef. Ground beef. And you're worried about making a profit. Not just a profit, but really making that extra money. We're finally making good money. You weren't making good money before. You wanted to do something that because you weren't losing money. You definitely weren't losing money. But now you're excited because you can drive profits further than you've ever been able to for something that people literally need to be alive. And there's going to be, well, you don't have to buy beef. You don't. Shut your mouth all the way up, because everything in the grocery store is too expensive because of tariffs and profit-seeking, nasty, nasty behaviors. And this nonsense of every conservative-minded businessman believing that simply because they exist, that they have every God-given right to drive prices to infinity to enrich themselves, regardless of how it destroys everyone around them, that shit has to stop. Because I'm not going to feel bad for farmers. The American farmer is so important. They provide a service. No, you're not trying to provide a service. You're trying to enrich yourselves, and you're mad because something is being done, even though I get it, it's a bad thing, but something is being done because $12 a pound for ground beef is insane.
Okay, elephant in the room. Everybody's talking about it. No, it's not Group 7. Trump and the cow market and bringing in Argentina beef. We're direct to consumer, so we sell direct to consumer. We have no middlemen in what we do. We are our own preconditioners. We're on feed yard. We do everything. And our pricing structure has been set. It was set 2 years ago. We've been relatively the same the entire time, pretty consistent. And now prime beef in grocery stores has outrun us by $1.50 a pound, if you can find it in the grocery stores. Here, it's always prime. So what sucks for the American rancher is these ranchers that are still going, they've survived floods, they've survived droughts, they've survived wildfires, they've survived crappy cattle markets where you're just barely breaking even. And then trying to hand that down for the future generation and do things different and right. And you finally get a market where you can get ahead a little bit and do some things for the future. You've risked all that to stay in it, and you get a short reward, and then it's yanked out from under you. I understand the fear of that, and that's one of the biggest reasons we did what we did way back in 2016 before COVID ever even happened was even a thought. And so It sucks for the American rancher if that is the case and what they really try to do. But at the same time, it may not be as much imports as what you think, and it's also not the ranchers are not the ones setting the prices. It's the big four packers. There's a conglomerate that's already paying out because they've been sued for price fixing. So let's start there. And but that's my take on it. We're still going to be here selling beef. So come see us at 830 West Commerce Street, Brownwood, Texas. You can check us out on www.essential-beef.com. And we do ship across the United States. So y'all have a good day. Eat Brown County beef.
Everybody's wound up today because Trump says we're going to import all this beef from Argentina. We're going to lower our beef prices because the beef's too expensive here. And I thought I'd throw my 2 cents in. First of all, it's not really a new thing to import beef. We've imported beef in this country for a long time. What is new, however, is the government getting involved because of the prices and saying the beef prices are too high. We're going to make a deal. We're going to buy a bunch of beef from Argentina, and we're going to undercut the American farmers and ranchers who are finally making some decent money. And that's just, it's a socialist mindset, if you ask me. That's not what I've grown up thinking as an American market, you know, supply and demand. Where did that go?
The way that Trump keeps playing in these farmers' face, and now he's saying that the U.S. will import their beef from Argentina. See how he's just continuing to play in these farmers' face. I'm not even a farmer, and I can see that he is playing in their face. The U.S. is the largest producer of beef. Now, when it comes to the quality, we don't have the best quality, but we have the largest production of beef in the U.S. And he's suggesting that beef gets imported from Argentina. Baby, if that's not an insult, what is it? And once again, farmers voted for him. Hot mess, hot mess.